Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantees 100% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. Purport. The inquiries of the sages headed by Shaunaka are herewith praised by Sutta Goswami on the merit of their transcendental nature. As already concluded, only the devotees of the Lord can know Him to a considerable extent, and no one else can know Him at all, so the devotees are perfectly cognizant of all spiritual knowledge. The personality of Godhead is the last word in absolute truth. Impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma, Supersoul, are included in the knowledge of the personality of Godhead. So one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know all about Him, His multipotencies and His expansions. So the devotees are congratulated as being all successful. A 100% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. Athe hadanya bhagavanta itham yadvasudeve kilalokanathe kurbanchi sarvatmakamatma bhavam nayatra bhuya parivarta ugram. Only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantees 100% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. It's a very interesting verse, spoken by Sutta Goswami. Appreciation for the sages of Naimisharanya, who were asking very relevant questions. It's always very inspiring for the speaker when audience is really interested in the subject, and they didn't come for the Bhagavatam class just because, they are afraid of being kicked out of the temple, or not because if they don't come, they don't get prasadam or something like that. Or just because they need to get initiation, maybe, or whatever other reasons, right? But they are actually interested in the subject. And so, luckily, in this scenario, the sages of Naimisharanya, they were not motivated by anything of this type. And what was their motivation? Anyone remembers? Why did they decide to do the 1,000 years sacrifice? And the core of the sacrifice was to listen to Bhagavatam, to stop the age of Kali. And so what should be our motivation in hearing Bhagavatam? What do you think? Yes, thank you, Jayadev Prabhu. Yeah, in the hearts and outside as well, because where the age of Kali comes from in the heart, because it's around us. And so devotees should be motivated to do something to help the world advance spiritually, right? And maybe that particular motivation just for me, how can I advance spiritually? It's good, but it's a bit tinged with selfishness as well, right? Actually, Srila Prabhupada was condemning that attitude as desire for salvation, personal desire for salvation. It's not very helpful in our spiritual development. But here, Sutta Goswami is very happy to hear the questions 6 original questions of the sages of Naimisharanya from which the entire Bhagavatam emanates. All the discussions are coming from these 6 questions, original questions. And he says, this is the only way to be successful and perfectly cognizant. Let me see the show of hands. How many of you would like to be successful in life? Okay. Those who haven't raised their hands, I understand that you want to fail. Okay, how many of you would like to be perfectly cognizant? Okay, good. I hope none of you want to be perpetually ignorant. So, yeah. And so, it's really important for us to ask the questions which would lead us to that destination. And Srila Sutta Goswami makes it very clear. Such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes and guarantees 100% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. So let's see, how many of you want to have 100% immunity from birth and death? Okay. And how many of you would like to invoke transcendental love for the Supreme Lord? Okay. So we should be really inspired to learn the art. And let me see how many of you feel transcendental ecstatic love for the Supreme Lord already. So, what shall we be asking? What kind of questions we should be asking? And the questions we should be asking, what's going on? Why am I chanting Hare Krishna for so many years? Why am I following the process of Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti means love towards the Supreme Lord. And what's happening? Why am I not feeling any changes in the heart? And the answer, surprising answer, is very simple. Because we are trying to develop love for Krishna, right? But we are successfully ignoring the process of the development of love of Krishna, which Krishna gives in scriptures. And at this point, some of you might be asking, Maharaj, what are you talking about? We're not ignoring anything, we're following everything very strictly. Waking up in the morning, chanting our rounds, attending Bhagavatam, sometimes falling asleep in both processes. And trying to do service and many, many other things. Serving the Lord, focusing on the Lord. But what's missing? Anyone can suggest what's missing? Why are we trying so hard? You know, sometimes devotees look very, very tired. because they're trying so hard. Yes. Okay, we should get the mercy of the Lord. So how do we get the mercy of the Lord? Okay, we'll come back to that one. False ego is obstructing us, okay? These are very good suggestions. Yes, Sachinandan Gaur Prabhu. By the way, today is his birthday. He was born on a Good Friday Let's give him big Haribol for that. Haribol. Happy birthday. Yeah. Lacking attachment to Krishna. Okay, good. Thank you. Jai Krishna Prabhu. Okay, strong material desires. Okay. Okay. Jaydev Prabhu was first and then. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And I think that they are getting somewhere, but it's just that the ultimate, connection is not made yet. And I think it will come. I just think we have to be patient.
Okay. Okay, we have to be patient. That's a good suggestion, Prabhu. And then 100% surrender is lacking. Okay. Surrender in the face of adversity. Yeah, thank you for all your suggestions. To be honest, I really liked the first two, the ladies' maid. I think we can come back to those, come back to where we started from. And the suggestions were that we need mercy of Krishna, right? And false ego is stopping us. And I think we can all safely agree with that, because false ego, material attachments, as Jai Krishna Prabhu said, these are all, everyone was right. So just looking at the same kind of bunch of problems from different standpoints. And we need to do something, there are so many reasons why we're not getting the mercy, but we need some tool to sort it out. There are so many of them, but is there one thing we could do to finish them all? And Shastra says yes. Amazingly enough, Shastra says yes. There is one thing which can finish every single problem we're facing. It's like one king. I think that was Alexander the Great. There was one, huge knot which no one could untie. And so when Alexander the Great was presented with the challenge that, like whole ball of knots, can you untie this? He made it very simple. He pulled out his sword and cut the whole thing into halves, and it fell. Right? So this was the way how he untied that knot. And so in Shastra and in bhakti practices, we have that sword which can finish every single problem we're facing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that in one of his songs. Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajana Hanukula Vaishnava Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karamula. So he says, serving the lotus feet of pure devotees make our bhajan, make our worship very auspicious. And Vaishnava Seva, serving Vaishnavas, Paramasiddhi, brings us to the topmost perfection. Why? Because it is Prema Latikara Mula. It is the root of the creeper of divine love. So this is really, really important. If you understand this one thing from the entire Vaishnava philosophy, as Krishna explains that in Padma Purana, that those who claim to be my devotees are not really my devotees. But who are my real devotees? Who consider themselves the devotees of my devotees. And therefore, what Lord Chaitanya says, Jivarab Svarupahaya, Krishna Nityadas. And, no, that's another one. Gopi Partu Pada Kamala Yordasa Dasa Anudasa. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is the master of the gopis, right? And one of the prayers of Vritrasura is really powerful. And Srila Prabhupada notes that prayer. He says this is the sum and substance of the entire Krishna conscious philosophy. Aham haritava padaika mulam tasanadaso babitasmi bhuya manasmaritasu pater gunamste grinitava karma karotu kayam. He is lamenting, he says, "Oh my Lord, when will I again be able to serve your lotus feet? And when will I become servant of your servants? Dasa anudasa bhavitasmi bhuya. Manasmaritasu patergunamste," that when will my mind always be focused on your wonderful qualities, and grinita vak, when my words will describe your glories, and karotukaya, when will I be able to do something practical for you, right? Some practical service. And so, that's it. That's the whole Krishna consciousness. To engage body, mind, and words in the service of the Lord, that's the mercy, right? If we can be fully engaged, because we see that sometimes in our own lives, how we are physically engaged in the service, but where our minds are, right? Far, far away. For example, japa, right? So, because we are not getting the mercies. But how do we get the mercy? By serving Vaishnavas. And if we want to serve Vaishnavas, what do we need to understand first? What Vaishnavas want, right? What Vaishnavas need. And yeah, because if you do something, say like, if someone just came from the big feast and I'm trying to feed that person, but that's not the need of the person, right? So my effort will be wasted. So, and sometimes we're kind of trying to serve the Vaishnavas without understanding what their needs are, right? And so we're not really satisfying the Vaishnavas, and we're not really getting the mercy. And, my humble observation in about 30 years of trying to serve in this movement and traveling to many, many countries and seeing many, many different communities and temples in many, many different situations, and having responsibilities in this society on many different levels, both spiritual and managerial, helps me to come to one interesting conclusion, that the problem we have is that we don't understand this point, and we're trying to connect with Krishna without understanding that we can, Krishna is looking at us and smiling, and he's thinking, these guys, they don't understand this simple thing. That they cannot get me directly, that they have to get the blessings of the devotees in order to connect with me. And so this is really important for us. And, sometimes, I'll have to be honest, I can see that there is a huge contradiction that, our process is supposed to be susukam kartum avyayam, blissful, and, just visiting different temples, you see the devotees, to the most part, absorbed in mild or even moderate depression. And so, devotees don't look happy, they look pretty depressed or anxious or whatever. So, of course, with few exceptions. Adi Guru Prabhu always looks blissful, as well as Jai Krishna Prabhu. But these are rather rare exceptions. And so, how do we become blissful? And is it possible, with all our conditioning and fallen state, can we be happy in Krishna consciousness? Can we or not? Yes. How do we become happy in Krishna consciousness? Sorry?
Just get out of the way and let the love come through.
Okay, get out of the way and let the love come through. And? Huh? Scientific following. Okay. Okay, let's ask the ladies. Normally they are more kind of oriented in social sphere. By associating with devotees and serving the devotees. Okay, that's better. So it's easy. Our philosophy is simple. What goes around comes around, right? As you sow, so shall you reap. You want to be happy and enthused in Krishna consciousness? Yes? Or no? Yes or no? Okay. So if you want to be happy in Krishna consciousness, and if, as we know, we have to get blessings of the devotees to be happy in Krishna consciousness, what shall we do to be happy in Krishna consciousness? Exactly. Associating with devotees, that's right answer. Serving the devotees, that's even more precise answer. So how do we serve the devotees to be happy in Krishna consciousness? Yes, exactly. We can be happy in Krishna consciousness by making other devotees happy in Krishna consciousness. Okay? Did you get that? Okay, let me ask you. How do we become happy in Krishna consciousness? By making other devotees happy in Krishna consciousness. So how do we become happy in Krishna consciousness? By making other devotees happy in Krishna consciousness. If you forget the whole philosophy. But if you just remember this one formula, I can guarantee you will succeed big time. And you will go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. It's money back guarantee. So if it will not happen, you can come and complain to me. Yes. How do you, that's very good question. That's very relevant question coming from very mature and senior Vaishnava. It says that picture gives the 1,000 words, picture is worth the 1,000 words, but experience, I guess, is worth of 1,000 pictures, right? Would you agree with that? And I wanted to offer you not just words, not even a picture, but experience, practical experience. And this experience I've got in one Christian community, but this is the proper Christian community, the kind of Christian community I believe Srila Prabhupada would appreciate, because they are very open, very positive, and they promote our principles, including vegetarian lifestyle. And also they're really, really friendly to the devotees because their philosophy is so similar. And this is, they call themselves International Spiritual Center. They're situated in Los Angeles. It's called Agape. And in Greek word, agape means divine love, same like bhakti, synonymous to bhakti. And they have very charismatic leader. And he's teaching his followers few things, the basis of his philosophy. One is do something in this lifetime to please the Lord. Don't wait till you die or become incapable of doing anything. And second, he says, that's his motto, one of his mottos, the answer is you. And, they sing one song on every program, and I'm sure Jadav Prabhu heard that. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Let my steps reveal the path of peace. And what's that? Oh yeah. Let me learn from every way I fail, etc. Holy, holy way. Holy means completely, right? And holy means holy. So that's their meditation, that's their prayer. And we can fully relate to that because we can live in a holy way, H-O-L-Y, but it may not be holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y, right? It may not be completely spiritual, and so. And they discovered that. It's amazing. They're not even devotees, but they discovered that. It's the proof that Paramatma is in everyone's heart, that the answer is you. And so instead of focusing just on God and forgetting everybody else, and unfortunately, sorry to say, but in ISKCON we see that sometimes, devotees relate to each other as people relate to the, you're on the train, on the tube, and there are other people on the tube. And so it's like, yeah, we're going home back to God, and then these guys are going, but, they might get off at any stop, and, they don't really matter so much. And so, my conclusion, this is the root cause of depressions and problems in the society, because we treat the devotees in the same way as we might treat passengers on the tube, right? We're thinking only God, and that's really dangerous. That's Islamic State philosophy. Only God matters, everybody else is nothing, right? Don't worship anyone except God. And they kill even, Sufis who are, into worshipping saints and sages, and they are very positive and loving and chant the holy names as well, etc. And they hate them because they are not fanatical enough. And so I think this kind of fanatical approach that Krishna only will never help us to advance spiritually, right? But if we have the understanding, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, when we are absolutely convinced that in order to become Krishna conscious, we need the mercy of all the devotees, and therefore every single day, hour, minute, and second, I should be thinking, planning, and saying and doing something to encourage the devotees. If I want to be enthusiastic, let me see what I can do to enthuse other devotees, to help them to advance. Instead of thinking, how can I advance in Krishna consciousness? Thinking, how can I encourage and help other devotees to advance? And ready to do anything, ready to sacrifice our lives for that sake. If we have that mentality, that's done deal, our Krishna consciousness. And so, why am I mentioning this Agape church? It's interesting that today, it's a Good Friday, and actually we are in the weekend where two things happen. First, the Moses, it's a Passover in Jewish tradition. The Moses helped his tribe to go through the Red Sea into the Promised Land, and also it's the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, right? And so Srila Prabhupada was also mentioning that Jesus is our guru, because if someone follows purely the teachings of Jesus, it's the same like teachings of Krishna. There is absolutely no difference, because the goal is divine love of God. And it's very interesting that in this church, they realized what is the trick to get love of God, to love, inspire, and do whatever it takes to facilitate each other in the service. So that created such a vibrant community that everybody, even Prabhupada disciples, they go there and they feel inspired. I invited one Prabhupada disciple, very prominent one, whom probably some of you know very well, especially by his work. He's a movie maker, and he made series of movies called Prabhupada Memories, and published books as well. So, very old Prabhupada disciple who have done so much service and so been everywhere, had all types of spiritual experiences. I invited him to the services in the Agape Church, and their welcome alone was so powerful. He said it brought tears to my eyes. So this kind of experience he had. And so I wanted you to give an example and introduce their kind of welcome. And it speaks about their spirit a lot. And I'm just wondering, how would you feel about that, and whether this kind of spirit would be helpful in our own society. Would you like to have the experience? Yes? Okay. So, for that, I will request you to turn to the devotee next to you and look at each other. And I will request you to repeat certain words, but try to do it with feelings, right? It's really important, because we tend to do things in a very mechanical way, but, bhakti means feelings in the first place. And, you have nothing to lose. I don't insist that you do it on a regular basis, just one try, right? Okay, so we'll be welcoming each other, because, it's great that all of you have made it to the morning program. I mean, some people never saw the rise of the sun today, right? So they didn't make it anywhere in this life, because their life is over, but you are still alive, and you made it to the Bhaktivedanta manor. So let's welcome each other. Or I will replace certain words with the words which are relevant for all of us. So let's welcome each other in Krishna consciousness. That would be even better thing to do. Okay, so please look at each other and repeat after me. Welcome to Krishna consciousness. I recognize you. I see who you truly are. You are the spiritual image in the very likeness of God, a unique emanation of beauty, love, and divine intelligence. Indeed, you are one of a kind, wonderful, one of a kind, magnificent, brilliant, unfolding genius. And today, we will get to celebrate your very existence. We're celebrating your infinite potential. We appreciate you. And we thank Krishna for you. Welcome to Krishna consciousness. Well, this is the traditional welcome from Agape Church. I just replaced Agape with Krishna consciousness. Yeah, from that church I was mentioning. Okay, let me see if that changed anything for you, if that provoked any thoughts or realizations. I see a few people smiling. Yes. Okay, perfect words to share with a friend. Yes. Heart connection, very good. Yeah. Bhakti is the affair of the heart. It's not just the mind, and devotees too often live in their heads, and heart is hard like a stone. Okay, very good, yes. Instead of just trying to get mercy from the Lord, we should get the mercy from the devotees. Good. Inspiring, yes. Why it is inspiring? Because it's true. Is it true or not? Why it is true? Who are we? We're spirit soul. What does it mean to be the spirit soul? Satchitananda, every single perfection, every single Krishna's quality is in the spirit soul. But, it's like two things. You meditate on yourself and on other people as the body, and you become the body. But if you meditate on others and yourself and spirit soul, as spirit soul, you develop the qualities of spirit soul. And so that's very simple meditation, which helps them to remember that they're not the bodies, but they're spirit souls. Anyone else wants to say, ask? Yes, Jayadev Prabhu.
Open us up, and this is right up my street, this kind of class, and so I want to thank you so much for that. And for those boys who know who they are, please next time you go past me, say hello.
Okay.
I'm old and I'm dying. I might be gone next week. Who knows?
Sure.
So please be nice to me. There's one thing. The second thing I'd like to say, if you don't mind, is a little story which colludes with something you said about if you think we're the only ones and nobody else has got it and they're all off. I was going door to door doing books in the 80s with Garangi. And she was doing one door, I was doing the next. We were going along. It was getting dark. And all of a sudden, I turned round and I saw her disappear into this house. Then I was thinking, well, I don't know. She's gone in there. I'm sure she'll be okay. So I carried on for about half an hour on my own. Then I thought, I better go back to see what's going on. So I went back to the house and she came out. And she was looking all thrilled. So I said, what happened? She said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. She said, I knocked on the door and I heard an old lady's voice say, who is there, dearie? And Grungy said through we're bringing these books about yoga, meditation, etc., etc. And we're just asking people, a short thing, So she said, all right, dear. And then about 3 minutes later, she came on a one of those
wheelchair?
Zimmer frame.
Okay.
And she said, are you collecting for charity, dear? So she said, well, we're giving out these books and etc., the mantras that we do. And she said, oh, just a second. And then she went back in again. It took her so long because she was moving slowly on this. So in the passage, there was this beautiful pre-Raphaelite picture by Holman Hunt of Christ, the Saviour of the world, with holding the light of the world, holding a light. You may have seen it. It's a beautiful picture. So when she came back, she said, that's a beautiful picture of Jesus. So she said, yes. And then she was fiddling around in her purse. And it turned out she was kind of blind. And she was going like this and looking to see if it was a pound that she had. And she was going like this, fiddling around. And she said, yeah. She said, 20 years ago, he told me to stop smoking. So Grungy said, well, what did you do? So she said, I stopped smoking. He told me to. So very nice. And she carried on fiddling in her purse like this. And then she said, 5 years ago, he told me to stop eating meat.
Wow.
So Grungy said, oh, wonderful. What did you do? He said, I stopped. He told me to. Like that. And she's going like that. And she said, is that a pound, dear? And she dropped it in the box. And Grungy said, yes. Said, please take one of our books. I think it was The Perfection of Yoga. And she touched the book and she went, the blue boy.
Wow.
I've seen him too.
Wow.
He's beautiful. Thank you, darling. And that was it. And Grungy was like in ecstasy,
Amazing.
So, we've had loads of things like this happen over the years to, confirm this topmost revelation of Krishna consciousness and the truth about it all. And every time that I challenged it myself, personally, Krishna, because I'm such a doubtful person, he showed me within a week something incredible that I'd been doubting and stuff like that. But these things are happening, and devotees on Sankirtan like Vishwan Mahaprabhu and all the other wonderful devotees, and those who interface with life, they get so many stories, and these are incredible stories. And on today's day of the crucifixion of Lord Jesus, I'm so pleased that you chose these. I'm sure it was no accident. I'm so pleased that you chose this subject, and also the compassion, because Jesus was like that. He wasn't he was heavy dude, but he was like a good mate to everyone. You could lean on his shoulder, and it was like, just have a good old chat with him, like I do with Vishwan Mahaprabhu. And anyway, I'm sorry to go on so much, but I just wanted to say that we've got it. It's here. It's ours now. So let's not labor the fact. Let's accept that Krishna loves us. It sounds like a cliche, Jesus loves you, and you've heard so much of that, it drives you mad. Yes, he does love us, but Krishna is the fountainhead of that love. And we've got it. It's here with us. And just stick with the process. Lighten up a little bit. Love each other a bit more. Serve each other a bit more. Be less selfish. And you'll get it. Everything's there. I know when I was in the ambulance, last year when I had a heart attack and I was thinking, I'm going now. I realized Krishna, he carries and he preserves and he does everything. Bit by bit, stage by stage, I saw it again and again and again. And honestly, devotees, it's not like what you think. You think, I still like tomatoes now, I can't go back to God. Or I still think that girl's very pretty there in the corner or whatever, I can't go back to God. It's all that stuff is just blasted aside. And Krishna just remembers, you cared for that person. You did this, you did that. I'm no great deal, but I do care about people. It's been with me all my life. So it's easy for me. But all that was blasted aside, and Krishna just said, look, it's okay. I don't even worry. I'm such a big family person. I love my kids. I love my family. Even I love my wife, and that's a tough one. No, not being rude to her, but she knows. We've had 50 years of battle. But it's great. It's all perfect, pure. It's wonderful. I don't regret a minute of it. But in that ambulance, I realized, first of all, oh my God, I'm so fallen. And all of a sudden, bang, it all went. Oh, my family. Oh, I've got to hang on. Bang, they all went. They're all gone. We have it. We have everything. Like you were saying, Maharaj, and it's sickening you to see us not happy when we should be and could be happy. Yeah. And we are happy. We're denying Krishna if we're denying our happiness.
Very good.
So sorry to go on so much, but yeah, don't worry about dying, guys and girls, because Krishna is just going to step in. He steps in and clears it all. It's not like what you think. Hare Krishna. Sorry about that.
Very good. Thank you, Jayadeva. And please, like devotees, especially devotees like Jayadeva Prabhu, they have done enough services for the movement and for the devotees to at least deserve little attention. And please don't ignore them. Of course, tolerating each other is not enough. This is what I wanted to say. So, and it's really surprising for me sometimes, because His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj is investing so much time and energy in encouraging the devotees to follow the Chaupati spirit. And Chaupati spirit is so personal, and they're so encouraging to each other and embracing each other and, smiling to each other and serving each other. And can't we do it more in here? Can't we, just get the message finally after so many years? Because, it's like by ignoring other devotees, we ignore ourselves. And so we ignore the chance to advance spiritually. And so, we just go through that very excruciating mental pain of not being Krishna conscious in Krishna conscious environment, or in the environment which gives us full opportunity. So it's kind of we're dying of thirst at the bank of the river with crystal clear spring water. Yeah, sometimes I'm thinking this is really what's happening in our society, and so it's really time to not only start thinking, but start doing something to change. And, you could be the one who could change everything, Don't wait for other devotees to do something for you, to encourage you. Start encouraging other devotees. All right, so thank you all very much for your kind attention. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.